I'm Roni on the East Coast.
And I'm WizCate on the West Coast. And we are
We are
hopelessly
hopelessly
unedited.
unedited. Awesome,
Hopefully,
awesome.
well, someday we might say it together. I don't know. Who knows?
Hopefully to be hopelessly.
No, we
Anyway,
might say, I don't know.
anyway. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something a little bit uplifting, I would think. I don't know what Kate's gonna talk about. It's about little miracles in our lives. So I'm very hopeful that she's gonna tell us some uplifting stories.
Well, hi, everybody. Yeah, so, excuse me. I have been going through the ringer recently, so like things are just not all that great. And so I was reflecting on this on July 4th and thinking like, what can I think about that actually makes me feel better? Little things that I should be grateful for. Lots of people, they do gratefulness. I don't know if you do that. They're like, oh, I'm so grateful for this. And then they feel better for the day or
I
whatever.
I meditate 10 minutes a day to surrender and be grateful. So I do.
See, there you go.
Short
So you
answer.
do gratefulness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't typically do that. I'm just not built that way, I guess. I don't know. Well, maybe I'm too lazy to do the gratefulness thing. So, but I write stories. I write stories. I have a Substack
Mm-hmm.
at WizCate on Substack, and I write about all sorts of things. And I thought that I would write a little bit about those ordinary miracles of every day that I should be thankful for, and I forget to be thankful for, and I think everybody else forgets about them too. Um, and when I wrote that, I also thought about you. Actually, the first small miracle is a nod to you and your hubby, and a story that I wrote about
Oh,
you guys. But
thank
should I
you.
read my story? Do you want me to read my story?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Okay. It's called, I'm going to move it. You're going to see it in my glasses. It's called The Museum of Ordinary Miracles. And it's a tale from the Library of Glad Tidings. Do you know about the Glad Tidings? Did I explain this? The Library of Glad Tidings?
That's in the town, right?
Yeah, so
Isn't
I
it?
write a
Yeah.
series that are just kind of gentle fiction about a little town where a certain she and her husband, Rob, live, for instance. And I have a bunch of other friends who live there. And it's just gentle stories, just sweet fiction, just nice. I'm trying to get away from all the nastiness. And I started this
Mm-hmm.
after the last elections. So anyway, this is called The Museum of Ordinary Miracles, and it's a tale from the Library of Glad Tidings. Nobody was quite sure who built the museum. It had no grand opening, no ribbon cutting, and no mayor or celebrity posing with oversized scissors. One Tuesday morning, it was simply there, tucked between the florist and the hardware store, as though it had been waiting patiently for everyone else to catch up. The building itself was unremarkable, which, as it turned out, was entirely the point. A small brass plaque beside the door read, "The Museum of Ordinary Miracles. Please enter slowly. Most exhibits have been overlooked for years." Inside, there was no gift shop, no dramatic lighting, no security guards following visitors from room to room with folded arms. There was only a cheerful woman at a small wooden desk. "First visit?" she asked. Nearly everyone nodded. "They usually are." She handed each person a folded paper map. It was completely blank. "It fills itself in," she said. But nobody believed her. Everyone eventually stopped arguing. As the first visitors stepped away from the desk, faint charcoal-colored lines began to bleed outward from where their thumb rested on the heavy parchment, like water finding hidden grooves in stone. The first gallery was enormous. In the center of the room, Under a perfectly ordinary spotlight rested a single stainless steel spoon. The plaque beside it read, "The spoon. Estimated age, older than memory. One of humanity's greatest collaborations between gravity and soup." People stood around it much longer than anyone expected. On their maps, the ink pooled and sharpened, sketching a tiny perfect blueprint of the spotlighted pedestal. One little boy looked at his father. "We use those every day." His father smiled. "I know. I never thought about them." "Neither did I." The next room held a fresh towel, still warm from the dryer. Its exhibit simply read, label simply read, "Still warm. Please remember this feeling in February." Across the hall was an automatic grocery store door. Visitors approached, it opened. They walked away, it closed. They approached again, it opened again. An elderly man wiped away a tear. "I'm not emotional," he insisted. "I just didn't realize how nice it is that these things exist." Everyone understood. On the old man's map, the ink near the automatic doors turned a soft, faded blue, branching into a microscopic handwritten text that began listing other things in the world that opened for us without us ever asking. Farther inside stood one of the museum's most celebrated pieces, a green traffic light. The accompanying plaques read, "Perfect timing. Occasionally appears exactly when needed. Extremely difficult to preserve in the wild." A group of teenagers stared at it for nearly 5 minutes. "I've seen one of those," one whispered. "Lucky," said another. Near the back of the museum, visitors found what many considered the finest gallery of all. It contained nothing more than a kitchen. Not a fancy one, just a perfectly ordinary kitchen. A refrigerator hummed quietly. A kettle waited on the stove. A chair had been pulled out just enough for someone to have recently stood up. The plaque read, "The place where most lives actually happen." There were no further explanations. None were needed. On nearly every map, regardless of where the visitors had walked, the kitchen automatically became the dead center of the paper. Faint dotted lines radiated outward from it like latitude lines on a globe, anchoring every other room to this single quiet space. There were additional exhibits. One of them is called "The Last Parking Space." It's always occupied until the precise moment when it isn't. A pencil with a good eraser. Evidence that hope sometimes comes attached. The first sip of coffee that is exactly the right temperature. Scientists continue to investigate why the second sip never tastes quite the same. Finding exactly enough leftovers for lunch. It's neither disappointing nor excessive. The freshly changed bed, one of civilization's greatest achievements. When both socks survived the dryer, a phenomenon once thought only mythical. Remembering why you walked in the room. It usually disappears when witnesses are present. It's a big one for me. The checkout line you accidentally chose correctly, and no one knows how. The remote control found between the couch cushion, recovered after extensive archaeological excavation. The grocery cart with 4 good wheels, no squeaking, no dragging, exceptionally rare outside of protected habitats. Then you go to the weather gallery. With the first warm day after winter, visitors often stand here longer than intended. Petrichor, the smell just after rain. Ooh. It's on loan from the atmosphere. Sunlight through leaves. Changes every few seconds, never repeats. The quiet after fresh snow. Please lower your voice. Then we have the human department. Someone is holding the door just a little longer. An investment of 2 seconds with surprising returns. The wave between drivers who both yielded. Neither remembers who started it. Laughing so hard the story stops. We do that here now. It's a self-demonstrating exhibit. The friend who says, I was just thinking about you, appears without scheduling. The dog who thinks you've been gone for 7 years. Average absence required 3 minutes. We have the kitchen collection as well, with the fresh bread from the oven. Warning, may alter afternoon plans. The last cookie that everyone pretended not to want. It's a remarkable display of human diplomacy. Butter that is finely spreadable. Timing is everything. And we also have the Hall of Quiet Triumphs. The pen that works immediately. No shaking, no scribbling in circle, no muttering, just ink. Sitting beside someone without needing to talk. That's among humanity's rarest accomplishments. So when the visitors finally walked back from the front to the front entrance, their maps were completely full, dense with geometric lines, beautifully penned names of exhibits, and small personal notes scrawled in the margins. They looked at the cheerful woman behind the wooden desk, ready to show her what the paper had done. But as they stepped across the threshold and back onto the Tuesday sidewalk, right between the florist and the hardware store, the exhibit on the paper began to slowly fade away. The visitors blinked, looking down at the changing parchment. The museum's floor plan was gone. In its place, the ink was rapidly sketching the streets of their own hometowns. Faint lines traced the path to their own front door, their own offices, their own neighborhood parks. And as they watched, new tiny labels began to appear on the grid of their everyday lives. The curb where you found your lost keys. The bench where the afternoon sun hits perfectly. The tree that offers respite from the sunshine. The map had filled itself in, proving that they hadn't actually left the museum at all. They had just walked out into its largest wing. Please stay as long as you like. That was my story.
You're basically calling out the day-to-day things that we encounter, but they're all just miracles. It just happens. It's great. It's such a great story. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? You're sitting there and you have a green light just at the moment when you get there. It's like, holy cow. There's some places I never have a green light.
Yeah.
Yes,
butter. Yeah, spread.
So I tried to think about more.
Yeah, it's so
and
great.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to limit the time I spend on these things because they take a lot of time otherwise. It already takes a while to write and then to edit for length.
Yeah.
But then, but I'd like to hear it if people think about other ordinary miracles they have in their lives.
Yeah. I think every time, when I meditate, I do a guided meditation because my mind kind of wanders. So this lady, the first thing she would say is to feel the weight supported beneath you and how the earth is supporting you steady and unwavering. That's kind of a miracle that we kind of walk, on the earth and we don't fly away. Gravity. That's so everything I think around us is kind of, it just naturally occur, and it's pretty miraculous if you think about it,
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's the kind of stuff exactly that I was thinking about. What are these small things that are just so incredible? And we don't even think about it. We just take them for granted almost.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
Actually, gravity is a big thing, right? If you think about it, an apple, Newton, the apple falls down, so that we could
Okay.
grab it and eat it. Just imagine if there's no gravity, the apple is flying everywhere and try to catch it to eat it. That's kind
Yeah.
of ridiculous.
It's it's crazy when you think about it. There's so many things, and then things wouldn't work. Like the pen that I was talking about, in gravity, it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't work because the pen depends on gravity to drive the ink towards the ball.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Or
if we
else you
had
don't
no
even, do
gravity,
we
it
write like
wouldn't
that?
it wouldn't even work because the
Yeah.
ink would stay where it's at. It would never make it
Mm-hmm.
to the ball pen,
Yep.
to the ball
Yep.
tip. Yeah. What's the most underrated object in your house?
Uh,
You must have something like that.
so it's not in my house. I guess when I lived in Seattle, I never appreciated it because Seattle, it's I was in the suburb, but even the suburb, it's very bright at night, like the lights and everything. And after I moved here, I appreciated the stars and moonlight so much more because especially in the winter, because we have snow on the ground. When you walked outside, I didn't need street lights. I could see everything. It's so bright just from the moon and the stars. And it's pretty crazy if you think about it. When I was near the city, they weren't that bright. And I always look for lights. And now I don't even need it. Naturally, I could see everything pitch dark in the well, it's not pitch dark anymore, right? But it is just bright enough that you don't need artificial um light to shine the way for you. So that's pretty amazing, I think.
Yeah, it's nice. We talked about it a little bit about the lights in the cities that are always on, you know,
Mm,
and
yeah,
big cities they always have their lights on, and I
sure.
think that's kind of sad because you do miss this. Like in Seattle, you were just talking about that, but I think the northern lights they could make their way to Seattle if we didn't have all the light pollution that we have. We could see them
Yeah.
potentially from the city, I'm
Hmm.
sure, uh,
Yeah.
or not
Well,
far anyway.
The
But
Milky Way as well, right? There's no way
yeah,
in
yeah,
Seattle you could see the Milky Way,
yeah.
you know? So,
But yeah, I also think about like, there's some smells that are fantastic that are not just food. So like my mom's laundry smells amazing.
mhm.
My grandma used to wear this cologne, just a little bit of it, Mont Saint Michel it was called. And I had to buy some so I could smell her. I think
Do you
it's
have some?
amazing. Yeah, I have
Do you?
some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, talking about smell, I love the smell of North Carolina. So if we have a listener there from North Carolina, they're like, what are you talking about? Because I think that's the only, is it rainforest or some kind of forest in the United States? So the vegetation there, it it's just have a different smell. I've been there like twice or three times, and every time I went there, I just love the smell. You can just smell the vegetation. It's not quite tropical, but it just smells so good there. Yeah, they think I'm insane, but
Yeah.
I that's what I smell, you
No, I
know?
mean, I talked about petrichor. It's one of my favorite smells, especially if you mow the lawn,
Mm-hmm.
it rains, and you smell,
Yeah,
and you come out after it's done raining, and you smell the grass. It's just an incredible smell. The
yeah.
forest is like that too. The Pacific Northwest forest, where you have all the pines. So
Mm-hmm.
when it's really like super hot, you can smell the
Very
pine.
fresh. Yeah.
When it's hot, you can really smell the pine. And when it's been raining, the first rain, right after it's been so hot, it just has this incredible smell to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah,
it's nice.
where was it? I went to Asia on a business trip for a little over a week. I came back in SeaTac. You know how you get out, you walk that footbridge, that cover footbridge, and then to the parking garage. And I walked out. It just smells so fresh with exhaust, but still, it's like there's like a freshness with Pacific Northwest that it's just I can't describe it. It's just makes you feel really good, you know. So
Yeah,
talking about smell, can I tell you something? Did we talk about ticks? Did we talk about ticks in
you
the
have ticks in
Northeast?
your area.
Yeah, a lot of ticks. Maine is like the tick central.
Ugh.
So we'll go out and the dog has ticks medicine, has a tick collar. We'll be pulling ticks out. We comb him, get all the ticks. My hubby and people we know, they all has had tick on them before. I haven't. So I don't know why. And I think a couple of weeks ago, I was out cutting the bushes. I was like in the bushes, and my husband's like, "Make sure you spray for ticks." And this one morning, I forgot, and then I thought, you know, I'll just go out. So, and then I was cutting, and I stood up and I looked. I was wearing long sleeves, and I looked at my sleeve. There's a tick on the sleeve, and I thought, oh, finally, I got the tick. And then that thing just kind of fell off. I was like, what? What happened? And then a little bit later, I saw another one on the other side. And then it started walking and then it just kind of fell off. It's alive. And I think ticks don't like me. I think they think I stink
That's good.
or something. So our contractor said, oh, you should bottle your scent and sell it. All natural.
Probably true. I
Yeah.
heard recently that so pheromones are a thing that makes people attracted to another person. Pheromones.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
heard about that? It's a
Yes.
smell. So there are some people who smell it and they think it smells like super sweet, like vanilla or something really, really incredibly sweet. And there's another kind of people and they think it really smells like BO,
Like
like really
sour.
awful. Yeah, like awful. And so it's
Everybody has
funny that
BO
the same
though.
smell can be interpreted in two different ways by people. It's like cilantro. And some people really think it's
Mm-hmm.
great. And some people go like it's dish soap. Uh, it's kind of
Some
weird.
people's, yes, taste like soap and also make their tongue itches. Have you heard of it?
Yeah. Yeah, they're allergic to it, I guess.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't be a good mate for the ticks. They don't like
Yeah.
me. That's okay. That's what I can do
But
without them.
there are other smells that I'm really thankful for. And every time I go home to my parents, I smell it. It's like when you walk in the door of somewhere really familiar and it
Mm-hmm.
has that familiar smell to it. And
Yeah.
you either like the smell or you don't, but it has a smell. Even when you walk into somebody else's house the first time, they
Mm-hmm.
have their own smell in there.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can go like, oh, that's great, or that's really gross.
There are
I
some
can't wait to
people's
get out. But
houses
then
they
after a minute, you can't smell it anymore
right, right. You got
if
used
you're
to
there
it.
for a bit.
There's some
Yeah.
people's houses always look like baked goods, like bread, baking cookies. I love that because it's not just like the smell of the food. For some reason, those type of smell, I associate that with warm, safe, comfort. I don't know about you. So,
I think
and
real
there's also
estate
the
agents do
association.
this now when they do all the open houses. When you go visit an open house for some place that's for sale, they'll
Yeah.
bake cookies. They'll have that
Oh,
in there, so
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
people walk in and they're like, "Oh, it smells so good."
So cozy,
Kind of like what you're
right?
saying.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
nice.
think these are great. I think small miracles are great, and there are also some other miracle is it's the kind that you feel like it's a miracle that I'm still alive type of miracles too. I don't know if you had any of those. Do you have any of those?
Oh yeah, I have miracles like that every day. I think about why am I not dead yet? But um, but I wanted to also mention um, I used to when I first moved to the U.S. from France. I moved to California and I lived on the beach for a while.
Mhm.
And so you
Wait, wait,
could
wait,
smell
wait.
the ocean, right? You can smell
Wait,
the
what do you mean
ocean.
by on like a beach house or on the
Yeah, I had
beach?
a beach house. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, because I
Do you
thought
know where
you're
Top
just
Gun
like
was
camping.
shot? Do
Where?
you remember where Top Gun was shot?
Yeah,
And the
yeah, in
girlfriend in
San
Top
Diego.
Gun, yeah, and it was shot in Oceanside. And she had a house there that looked like it
Mm-hmm.
was on the beach. Well, it was one street up from me, a little bit farther
Oh,
north than where I was. So I was really on the ocean. And there was a thing there in Oceanside called the Strand. That's a little street that was at one car. street that you go. But I would cross that in the morning with my cup of coffee and go out on the beach and drink my coffee every day. But I lived there for months and months and months, and I got so used to the sound of the ocean. It was so calming and relaxing. And then I moved inland a little bit in Carlsbad, and I missed the sound of it. Like there was no, you're trying to sleep and there's no noise. Or it's a different noise, I miss that. The
So
other thing is like when you have like the rain that falls on your
yeah,
roof, you're in a tent or something and it's raining and you're like, oh, that's so cool.
yeah. I don't know about living in the tent though.
No, not living in a tent, but if you're like, it rains at night and you're sleeping, you're
Yeah.
cozy and you can hear it. And it's like, and then in the
So
morning you get up and there's no rain.
here's the thing. When I was in Seattle area, right, our house had a metal roof. And at the time, a lot of people said, oh, it's going to be like you can hear all the rain. We didn't hear anything because of insulation. Did you know that? You can't hear it, really.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought, oh, that would be pretty cool, but no. And then you talk about the ocean sound. That's funny because, in Maine, of course, we have the longest coastline in the United States among all the states. And there's an area that it's South Bristol and farther out. It's right on the ocean. And we know a lady that has a house there. It's just like right on the ocean, kind of, just imagine you have rocks and the ocean, the water would beat on the rocks and her house was right there. And it's beautiful. And she said, yeah, it's really beautiful. And people would compliment and would say, oh, listen to the sound hitting the rock. And she said at night when she sleeps, sometimes she wished that it would stop.
Yeah.
Because it's so loud.
Yeah. There's some moments, I remember that. So when the tides were coming in and they were pretty high, the king tides, whatever, in San Diego, they would crash almost to the front door. We sandbagged a few times, and it was. I really wish it wasn't happening. Like it was really scary.
Was it just right off the sand, the house?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I said, you crossed the street. I think you might have had one step down and you were on the sand.
Crazy.
Yeah. It was super nice. It was nice living there. I had a great time. The only problem is that I drank like a fish at the time, so I was drunk most of the time. I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I could have.
You enjoy your coffee?
I enjoy my coffee. Yeah.
So that's all good. Yeah.
But,
that's awesome.
Yeah. And for the rain, like in my house and in another place, I had a bunch of skylights. And you could hear the rain on the skylights if it was hard enough, Sometimes the rain in the Pacific Northwest, the rain is more like gentle
drizzling.
Drizzle, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's other times where it rains pretty hard, and that's kind of nice to be inside.
Yeah, I think Pacific Northwest, because I lived there for, I don't know, 20 years, gotta be a long time. And I felt like the weather's changed quite a bit. When I first lived there, it's more like, just gloomy drizzle. And when I left, it's still gloomy in the wintertime. But you get this hard torrential rain. I remember one year they have like, what do they call it? Pineapple Express or something. That come up from the south and just like rain really hard. And there were like back to back for 2-3 weeks they have one, and I looked at my husband and I said, when is this Pineapple Express bullshit's gonna end, and that's just, it's changed the weather definitely.
Yeah, I still think the Pacific Northwest has a lot of beautiful things that you don't find anywhere else in the
for sure
in the country,
for sure.
Not to say that it's not nice in other places, it just feels to me like having the 4 seasons is really important to me, and having them up here is nice.
And it's pretty moderate, right?
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, you don't get too extreme. I mean, here it's extreme, but I don't know, like compared to Chicago, the Great Lakes states, we're I think interior Maine is a little bit more extreme because we're on the coast, so it's a little better. But
Yeah.
anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I think all the listeners, viewer, think about the little miracles, the small miracles that you have in your lives, and we'd love to hear it and share with us. And we're about at time though. Um,
We're
how
ready.
about yeah, it's already 31 minutes. So we can pick up next time and finish up, or if maybe we can occupy all the entire segment as well if we get a lot of your opinions on the small miracles, and we'll share it with everybody. So with that said, I'm Ronit on the East Coast.
And I'm WizCate on the West Coast, and I'll be seeing you.
Yeah. And
And
we
we are
are
hopelessly
hopelessly
unedited.
Close. We're close. But I think when I go to your house, we do it in person. I still don't think we'll
Sounds
get it,
good.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye, everyone.